Hi, I'm Helen, and today I'm going to tell you all about my shoulder surgery, which is now number 3 surgery. Today's the 21st of September of 2020. Yes, while COVID, I've had surgery during COVID when it was able to. I had surgery last year on my left shoulder due to an accident that I'd fallen over at work and landed on my shoulder and hit it against a really hard solid surface. I'm 58 years old as a nurse, and I had surgery back in July of last year, and where I'd torn the tendon off my shoulder and the bicep as well, which ripped it right off the shoulder. And then I had surgery like 6 weeks later and was repaired. Then 8 months in of physiotherapy, which I was doing extremely well, getting up to 6 kilos, but then I was told that I'm not making the marks for where I should be up to at physio. So off I hopped back to see the surgeon, which in turn off I go for an MRI, which then showed that the tendon had snapped itself, so therefore more surgery. So from July back into the new year of last year, coming into this year, in March, just prior to COVID, that's when I had to have some more surgery to reconnect the tendon back to the shoulder. So therefore they found that it would not join back together. A bit like an elastic band that is snapped, and if you rejoin it back together, my arm would come back out stiff as a board like this. So therefore, it was unattainable to rejoin it. So off I had to go and see a different surgeon, who is a surgeon who is very highly qualified in his field, maybe number 1 in Australia. And so therefore, he then had a look at my arm, and then he said, we can fix this. He actually mentioned 2 alternatives. One was to wait, and 10 years' time they may have to have a shoulder replacement. But then secondly, which that was not my option of wanting to have it fixed. I wanted it fixed straight away. But again, COVID came around and was locked down, so we all had to wait. So I went back and seen him in the May, and then again further on in July and August, because we're still waiting for COVID to finalise so we can go back to doing surgery. So finally here we are, now August, September. I'm 5 weeks in, and today I'm week 5, like I mentioned at the very beginning, into 8 weeks of this bulky sling, which is so cumbersome, and your arm is in here all the time. I'm not allowed to take it out. I can only get help with dressing, and then later on overnight I have family members to help me, and this will continue for up to 6 weeks because I had a 3rd surgery, which was tendon grafting surgery. It was an Achilles tendon which was taken from a cadaver donor, and it was replaced back into my shoulder. And what they had done, they'd taken a partial cut from the back of my shoulder back here and taken part of another tendon from a cadaver to have them both sewn and melded together, and then replaced back into my arm to give it blood flow and also to have some form of strength back in my shoulder. It's been a very long, drawn-out process. Shoulders are not like your hips and knees where you have surgery and the recovery time is much, much quicker. Shoulders do most of your work in your day-to-day life, and you don't realise what you have until you've lost that capacity. But I assure you, it's been 1 year, very long process, and today I'm into, like we said earlier, week 5, 6 weeks next week, and then I get rid of this sling into a normal sling for, again, another 2 more weeks, the whole time. I'm a bit like I'm locked in COVID. I can't drive, so it's really hard relying on other people when you've been independent all your life and suddenly you are no longer allowed to drive. You can't go out. You can't go anywhere unless you have someone that can drive you around to get you around. And so you've either that or you get family members that can help you dress, undress, even to the point of pulling your pants down to go to the toilet, which is not as easy as it sounds. You may think, oh yeah, you've got one arm, it can stretch, it can go through the back of your body. But I assure you, your arms aren't as long as you think they are. So it's something that you need to practice and see how good you are. Tie one arm behind your back and try and pull your pants up from your left hand or right hand side, depending on where you have an issue with sore shoulders. Another issue is your day-to-day life. It is not that simple, like we take it for granted. Yes, I can do this. And me, I'm up there and out there like the rest of a lot of people. I'll do anything. But this has totally slowed me right down. It's just become that way where I'm stuck like in a ditch and I'm not moving progressively forward until I start doing physio. Physio will start in about 6 weeks after I get this big bulky sling off. The reason the sling is like this is because the tendon is like an elastic band and it's not allowed to be stretched for 6 weeks past up to 8 weeks. So it's stuck in this sling 24/7. So now I'm week 5 and counting. And the only other exercise I'm allowed to do 4 times a day at 20 reps at a time is taking my arm out, bringing it down to the side slowly and bringing it back up 20 times each day at 4 times a day. Showering, again, is another issue. You find that all of a sudden you've got someone standing there watching you while you shower or helping you clothe on and clothe off. Showering, and it becomes a nightmare for yourself thinking you'll be fine, but it's not the case. Just washing your hair to washing yourself on the parts you can reach to the parts you can't reach. And the other thing is that you rely on everybody to doing most of the things. Cooking, you think is easy, or eating a hamburger, or eating something that's like running down your mouth like spaghetti, or you've got one hand and one hand only, not 2. But I'm counting down to those 6 weeks, which is next week. Also, driving, I can't wait to go back to driving. It's just one of the biggest issues. Now I understand how these elderly people feel when they lose their licence. It's the same. Yes, it's a shorter span of time, but yes, it's hard work. And you end up with one sore arm because that one's doing all the work constantly. I've been doing it for nearly a year because I've just never-ending problems with my shoulder that stop you from doing what you really want to do. Because I used to dance with my husband, partner Deegs, and we have been for 20 years, and that is no longer the case. I'm not allowed to do it anymore. I've been asked not to do that because he said find some other form of exercise. It is going to be hard because I love my dancing and it's exercise for me. If I say too often, bear with me. But overall, it's been a long journey, long experience, and I hope other people can get something out of this. This is my first time in this type of sling. My 2 previous surgeries were with a regular sling for 6 weeks. This one here is 6 weeks, then into a standard sling for another 2 more weeks. The pain I had this time, I think because of the surgeon who was dedicated with his profession in shoulders, strictly shoulders, the pain lasted for about 2 days once the nerve blockers wore out. And my threshold of pain is high, so I only took painkillers for about 2 to 3 days and then went back over to cold packs. If anyone's thinking about having to have this type of surgery or even any other form of big knee, hip surgery, I recommend cold packs. Cold packs are just the bomb. I put them on my shoulder the whole time, 24/7. and found the swelling went down faster, and the pain alleviates the pain, as opposed to taking quite a few painkillers like so many of us do today. I'm not a pill popper, so I chose to have them only for a few days, just to let the major pain slowly dissipate, then on to having just the cold packs, and they do work a dream. So something for you to think about. So I will be posting more. This is my first video ever, so hopefully my next one's better, and I will see you on our next video. That'll be when I get back into the normal sling, and then that's where I start physio, and I can show you the exercises that we'll be doing for this type of surgery. My physio, it'll be his first time seeing this type of injury and repair, and forwarding on from there, as opposed, and the same as the surgeon seeing where we're going to progress. So it's all totally new. Just goes to show you that we do bounce back, but I just want, it's not moving quick enough for me. Catch up with you soon. Thank you.